Hello everyone, this is Fire Gobbo again, and this is going to be my class discussion video. I'm going to start with the class roles first, which I'm going to describe a little bit more, and then after that I'll go into the classes themselves and discuss the benefits, negatives, what to watch for, and so on. Well, let's jump right in and start with the class roles. The three types of roles that any class can be is the support, an offensive role, and a protect or defensive, depending on your definition. Each of the roles has a very different play style for each of the classes. Some classes don't have all three. Some classes can use all three, but for the most part you shouldn't be. A good example of that is Blaster, and you could even say Scrapper. So let's take a look at the three different types using Bruiser and Tactician as the example, and I'll show you the main difference and what to look for. Here we'll start off with what most people will probably think of first when they think of a Bruiser, and this is a Bruiser Protect agent. You can tell with the Knight that he's going to be protecting. He also has Retaliation, and same with the Touch of Madripoor, which is also a very good protect or retaliate item. Mahayuga, again, it's not a retaliate but a preemptive strike, so for the most part you're aiming to get attacked by as many things as possible and counterattack with them in response. Scroll of Melsalam is a special case here because it is particularly useful with the Bruiser class. I can talk about that more when we get to the class discussion. Here we have Bruiser Support. Bruiser Support is again going to try and use protect items, but it's going to be using mostly items in order to support the rest of the team and keep them alive. So again, we have Scroll of Malsalam, which I'll discuss during the class part. But Magnetic Field Generator, generate more turns, shields, and Scroll of Angelob because it helps more with the protect side. It's definitely an offensive based item. I can do that in an item discussion video maybe at some point in the future, but for now, everyone kind of knows what the Scroll of Angelob does and why it's good and what to use it for. Next we have Bruiser Offense. Bruiser Offense wants to focus on AoE damage because you want to try and hit the scrappers no matter where they are, if they are protected or not. This particular build is very useful with a dot build with Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider. The idea being you want to have uh, all the magic dots on, like Death Frost and Dark Void, and since you have Soulfire and Sin, using Sin Flare you can also get bleeds. The Warbringer Axe is just there to break through defense if needed, single point damage near the end, and Scroll of Angelob, we all know what that does. You can see how the three differ quite heavily between their different roles for the Bruiser, which is not true of the next class. We'll go in reverse order for the Tacticians here, so this is a Tactician offensive class. This is the same build that I'm using currently with my PvP build, which if you've seen my other videos, you know how that works. This actually kind of falls in the line, sort of between support and offense. For the most part, since you're a tactician, you want to get those extra hits off as many as you can. So only for killing lets you get past protectors, or the Sword of Barony lets you heal if needed. And the continuing number of attacks allows you to keep your offense numbers high, but also keep your characters healed. This is definitely an offensive based build, not pure support, and I will show you the support next. Here's tac support. The only thing that's different in a tactical sense is the addition of the magnetic field generator instead of only for killing. Since you're trying to keep your teammates alive or help them do their job more, the Scroll of Angelob and Magnetic Field Generator are all that's needed in order to keep everything moving forward. You still get the buff from the Warbringer Axe, and you still heal quite nicely with the Sword of Barony. The idea is to hit with the Tactician, hit any blaster you can, and then Magnetic Field Generator if it's down, or just keep healing if you can't. For the most part, Warbringer Axe would only be used at the very end if you need single point damage to finish off a match. And finally, here we have the Tactician defense. It uses the Knight. You want to use Protect. For the most part, I wouldn't ever see using this actually in any PvP. For the most part, Tactician is a subpar protect class, mostly because you don't want to force infiltrators to hit you. Then they get their stealthy, they get their uh, extra damage, and then they ignore you anyways after that with all their attacks. For the most part, any benefit you would gain from the other classes hitting you is not nearly as good. Tactician lends itself best to a support style role. It being able to attack once, then follow up with a different buff or another attack is where the Tactician class shines. Where am I going with all this? Well, knowing the classes allows you to run your group in a tactical sense, what ability to use and on whom. But knowing the role each character fills allows you to build an overall strategy. The strategy you employ has much more impact on your overall performance in PvP than the composition, and much more impact than your luck, which most people might disagree with, but is very evident. Since this video is about classes, however, I won't go into the strategies at this time, perhaps in a future video. When you look at the heroes, there is a quite big diversity amongst the tacticians. There are several offensive oriented, like if you have Black Widow as a tactician. She's almost entirely offensive, and I would say the same with Hank Pym if you were to use him. Or Hawkeye. Protect-wise, of course you gotta say Captain America. After that, the rest are kind of somewhere in the middle. Support or support protect, like in the case of Black Knight. Tactician is a pretty good class for hero diversity. It offers quite a bit of benefit, and you can generally fit them into what you want to do with them. When you compare that to blasters, however, almost all of them are offensive based. Cable is support, and so is Scarlet Witch. You could even make a case for Storm, though I would mostly say that Storm is the only protect. You can say Phoenix because she has Mind Link, but it's not a good option. So when you're looking at blasters, the protect is pretty much only Storm. Otherwise, with the exception of Doctor Strange, who can be every role, even within the same fight, they're all pretty much offensive. They are all based on getting as much damage in the forefront, either across the board or single target, and that's where they excel at. Bruisers are also a special case though, much like tacticians. They run all the gamut. There are protect, offense, support, and all of them do their job very, very well. Some very good examples of offense is Captain Britain. If you've fought against him or used him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He hits hard, he hits well, and he does his job very, very consistently. For support characters, you have Valkyrie, who is easily the best healer in the game. You can also say that Thor is a little bit of a support. He's mostly offense, though. The buffs he gives to the allies are very useful, but again, he's almost completely offensive. Protect-wise, it has the most of the classes. You can even make Captain America a protect bruiser, which I quite like. Colossus is probably the best. Hercules has his place, but due to the way Bob is controlling the metagame and a few other issues with it, he's not quite shining as much as he could. And Thing is just, he needs a little bit of a remake, but yeah, otherwise he would be a very good protect as well. Next we have Scrapper. Scrapper is somewhat unique in that there's only a single support character, and that's even a stretch because used in the support role, it's when she's in a different class, which is Omega Sentinel. Otherwise, they're almost entirely offensive, but you gotta mention Nightcrawler and Wolverine. When they're both scrappers, they both work pretty good in the protect role. When you compare that to Infiltrator, though, I would say that they are, for the most part, the support class. Even more so than Tactician, but they're supporting in a different way. They're adding better buffs, or they're protecting themselves instead of needing protectors. But that also said, they have some of the best offense, and I would say the current best protect of the entire game, which is Protect Wolverine and Infiltrator. Yeah, you've seen how I use it in the PvP videos. They're mostly support though, even if they use in an offensive role like Psylocke, it's more for her support abilities to add the damage than just the straight damage that she causes by herself. And finally, we have the generalist heroes. Beast is the only support hero in the generalist classes. If you've used him, you know how he works. You can use him offensively, but then you're losing half of his abilities for the most part, so he's a definite support. The rest of the generalist heroes, including Quicksilver, they range from very simple to very easy to very, very complex to use in the case of Frank. And with that, it looks like I'm actually out of time for this video. I was expecting to get into the classes themselves, and I actually felt that I needed to do the class roles first because I will be discussing how they interact with the classes themselves much more. My next video, I guess, I'll try and record it tomorrow and see if I can get that edited out. But yeah, this is a good place to end for now, and thank you for watching. Oh, and please leave any comments in the comment section, please. I'd really like to hear about them. Anything I'm doing particularly wrong or particularly right. Just looking for feedback. Thank you very much.